All right, we have an opportunity to take a look at some of the highlights. This is the Postgame Show presented by the Maroon Club. Every gift matters every year. Join the Maroon Club today. Here's Mike.
That was a long run by Brescia, 64 yards. That opened the scoring. That was Colgate's first play of the game. They ran the quarterback zone read. He went 64 yards. Lafayette's going to answer here downhill with Selwyn Simpson. He backs in, does a nice job staying on his feet, getting in the end zone here. 2 looks at it. Watch that. Watch him get into the end zone. Lafayette misses the extra point. Remember, ball snapped over the head right here. And a good job just getting back and falling on it because Colgate could pick that up and get 2 points of their own. So Lafayette's down 7-6. Keep that in your mind. Well, Lafayette came back with the ground game. They ran the ball 18 times in a row. They pick up a nice run here by Sutton, who is now at 105 yards in the first half. Didn't really have any in the second half. Colgate with a field goal now. Colgate 13-13. But here's Colgate again, showing the fact that they just don't run it. They can throw it. And Garrett Oakey was a big guy down the field. He made 2 big plays. This one down inside the red zone, and then you see West here. He's going to pound it in. Lafayette comes up big with Major Jordan. They're going to cause another field goal here, which just scoots inside. So now you got a 13-13 ball game. Anybody's game here. Huge play by Jordan Anderson with the interception. He's going to bring that ball out over the 14-15 yard line. So Lafayette defense steps up big, but here on 3rd down and long, you see Brescia going down the field, one-on-one coverage. One guy finds the football, the other guy doesn't, but what a catch by Oakey. Didn't find the end zone today, Garrett Oakey, but he found some big-time turf. And then Lafayette with the no-moss play, allowing Brescia to walk in for his 2nd touchdown of the game. That made it 20-13. The last play of the game falls innocently short there as Julius Young just can't believe he didn't come up with that football. But you go back, like I said, to 2 big plays. Missed extra point, missed field goal. There, Lafayette looking to tie the game with a field goal instead of having to put the ball in the end zone. They did a great job getting it down the field. But again, this is disappointing for Lafayette from a lot of standpoints.
Yeah, the Leopards fall to 3-6 as they go to 2-2 now. Check that. Those numbers are not correct. We'll give you those in just a second. But Lafayette certainly had their hands full with Michael Brescia today. Mike, his numbers kind of unbelievable. 178 net yards. He gained 190 and then got tackled behind the line of scrimmage a couple of times. He was 9 for 15 for 144 yards throwing the football. This young man's going to be around for 3 more years.
Yeah, he only threw the ball 3 times in the first half, completed 1. So he had 8 completions in the second half. I can tell you who the Patriot League Player of the Week right now is offensively. 300 yards, a freshman, and this is all you're practicing again. That's disappointing for the Lafayette defense that you practice all week against the zone read play, and the first play goes for a touchdown, and you can't stop a freshman from running wild all day. And I think of Sean Davis, you saw the repercussions of all the hits he's taken all year long. He was not himself today.
So Lafayette falls to 3-7, 2-3 in the Patriot League, and some bad news right now for Colgate. The game has been tied up. Fordham Holy Cross right now are 24 all. They had such a long game delay that it's not even halftime yet at that ball game, 24-24. As we will await head coach John Garrett, see if he'll come over and chat with Megan. Before we get out of here, just a reminder, we do have game 157 coming up for you next Saturday afternoon. That's a 12 o'clock start, 12 noon. Originally, it was a 12:30, so mark your calendar at 12 noon. Of course, John and Phil will be back, too, to sort of analyze the rest of this ball game, as we'll hopefully have our player of the game, as that's going to be Jaden Sutton. He had a nice ball game rushing the football today, 113 yards, averaged 6.3 yards per carry, and he did have a touchdown. Some other numbers, Colgate rushed for 242, Lafayette rushed for 197. Colgate threw for 144 yards, Lafayette just 61 yards throwing the football, and it was a ball game that was tight to the very, very end. Yep. I think some of the seniors did not get introduced because of the rainstorm, and John Garrett is working his way.
There's a couple left there. I think maybe a half a dozen guys, and this is a really classy move here by Lafayette, trying to make sure that they honor their seniors here.
So again, they're going to make up for the delay we had before this ball game started. So normally Coach Garrett would come over and we'd get a final word with him and we'd have our player of the game. But as we mentioned, the senior day was interrupted. Because of weather. Lightning actually kept the ball game from being started on time, and it also interrupted the senior ceremony. 28 seniors playing their final game here at Lafayette. This is not the kind of ending that they would have hoped for. Okay, we're going to call it a day up here in the booth. We'll see you next Saturday at noontime. We'll send it down for the final wrap-up. Here's John.
About it, at halftime. They came back after that big touchdown, that they came out and had, and then came back, scored. It was tied at halftime, and just didn't go the right way. A lot similar to the Fordham game.
So many positives, not the least of which is the play of our offensive line, especially in that first half. They really dominated the game, dictated the way it had to be played given the weather conditions, and I think that's something that they can carry into next week. Yeah,
I think that's what they talked about early. The offensive line, they were taking it to task. They were upset with the way they played the week before up at Holy Cross, and they wanted to prove something here, which I think they did. We really ran the ball well. Just had a big play, here in the fourth quarter for Colgate, and didn't go our way.
As a former player now, it now becomes officially Lehigh Week.
Yep.
And that's always a big thing around these parts. Give us a sense of what it's like after the game that leads into the game.
Well, and again, I think it's a complete reset. At least it was for me. If we had lost a game, you at least knew that that the Lehigh game was coming up. There's a lot of excitement that goes around it. I remember back in our day, it was a little bit different back then. They were boxing up the statues. The wooden goalposts were going up. So there's a lot of excitement around it, and I think these kids get that. They know that it's a big game, and I think they're going to look forward to it.
Well, when you play football at Lafayette College, there is always a championship game waiting at the end of whatever season. For Gary Laubach and Mike Joseph, for Rick Kehoe and the entire RCN crew, for Megan Caffrey, and of course my buddy Phil Ing, thanks for tuning in today, and be sure to join us next week when the Lafayette Lehigh football game once again takes place. Thank you. We'll see you next week.